Okay. Technical difficulties
Welcome
aside,
back.
I think we're back.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay, I can hear you perfectly.
um, yeah, this is the points update for 4th of February, 2024. We just had CanCon, the biggest event we've ever had by a large margin. Lots of information, lots of good times.
An awesome event all around. Honestly, we had heaps of people playing. I think we had way more players than anyone expected. And unfortunately, a really small time between the end of that massive event and this update. So I think that'll kind of color things a little bit. But yeah, I think we've like got a lot of thoughts on. Do you want to like jump straight into like thoughts on the format in general, and then we can move on?
I think the format is like very good right now, but also there's quite a few outliers of these are the things that are broken.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's a lot of people doing different stuff. You can do all sorts of things as long as you do one of the three broken things.
Yes.
It's like the different. Yeah. You can do all sorts of things with a mana crypt, but you have to have a mana crypt. You can do all sorts of things with a mid range deck as long as you're like playing one of two shells. And so I think we're like really happy that all stuff's available, but we would like to be able to branch out from those shells a little bit and maybe do a little bit less of the like really heavily game defining stuff. It's not great to have games end on turn one or turn two, or to have a game come down to like one card in 6 turns time. So,
Yeah. Do we want to just
all right,
get into the points now?
yeah, just jump in.
Ooh. I don't know what happened to
Don't
my
panic
book.
early on.
Um,
You might not. So we go.
you just froze for a while. I'm not sure what you just
Okay, great,
said.
awesome. I love that. Good freeze frame. I probably had a ridiculous face. Okay, I say, it's hopefully like we're gonna be a bunch of changes. It's gonna hit most of the decks in the format. The people at the top, all the top decks, will expect to get some sort of impact, with the idea that like they'll all be roughly about the same power coming out from this update, and the decks that couldn't quite compete because they're doing something different should be able to rise up a little bit. And then we'll see where this lands coming to the next update, which will be just before the next major event.
Yeah. And to start with, we have Mana Crypt and Spellseeker getting an extra point.
Yeah, I mean these are like the two outliers. I think coming in to CanCon, everyone knew these cards were really good. There's the Time Walk deck and then the Mana Crypt Initiative decks. They were like the decks to beat coming into CanCon. They were decks to beat at CanCon. They're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say like everyone knew these cards were really good. I think they've been on and off the watch list a bit. Mana Crypt did even better than we expected at CanCon. I think these are the some ones of like
It was
making these.
the second most played pointed card at CanCon Mana Crypt.
Yeah,
There's a
second
lot
most
of
played card.
them.
And for a 4 point card, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Particularly compared to like Black Lotus, which had like three
Two?
copies, I think, or some two. Yeah, some small number.
Yeah.
So that was well. I think for, in terms of Spellseeker, I think people will say it is a point to. There are decks outside of Time Walks that are playing it.
Perhaps even things like lots of Thoracle decks are playing it as well, and Flash plays it.
And those decks getting a point is intentional.
Yeah.
Like Spellseeker is just a really good shooter, even outside of Time Walk. And like it is a powerful card in its own right, and that's why it's getting a point. It's also a point on that deck because that combo is really good, but
Yeah.
it is just really powerful.
But if it was just for just the walks, you probably would have done something like walk to 6. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Spellseeker's really good. And then there's been a
Fun, I
new
guess.
there's been a new set was pretty recent that impacted this format a lot. Orcish Bowmasters and Fortheolingus are getting a point.
Lord of the Rings, your time has come again. The One Ring got I think it was the last update, the update before. Those card was really powerful. Turns out some other ones are really powerful. These cards both show up in decks that perhaps shouldn't be playing them. At least certainly in decks that aren't those colors, just on raw power.
There's
And
lots
they
of
warp
splash.
games a lot.
Lots and lots of splash for Theorlinguses.
Yeah. Even Bowmasters, I think there was a couple of decks that were like playing one. The top Walks deck in the top 8 had 3 black cards, which was one of which is Orcish Bowmasters.
It was Bowmaster Reanimate Leovold.
I think Gold as well, yeah. Yeah.
Fourth
That's really good.
Yeah. Fourth Theorlingus ends the game by itself all the time. For 3 mana or 10 mana.
Both of these cards are just like cards like they're pretty much always good, and sometimes they'll win the game, and they're way better than like what card you put in their place, and they're warping decks and warping the format. So they'll both still see play at 1. I think they're both a bit format coverage. One of the things we saw was like the black decks really overperformed compared to what they had been previously, and Orchestra Master was part of that. To still be good, but maybe it's a bit good.
And then there's a couple of other points that we decided to put things on. Red's a pretty good color. Kaiser Chaos Adventurer, Ren and 6, and Goblin Recruiter are all getting an extra point.
Yeah. I mean, this is a weird one of like, they're very rarely in the same red decks. I guess
Yes.
Ren and 6 and Caves might be, but they're not really on the same plan. So we start with Caves, I guess.
Initiative's really good, even after we put points on the other 2 white cards.
Yeah.
And this is clearly the next best one.
Yeah, I think there's a big gap between Chaos Adventurer and the next best initiative creature, and so I don't think we're like looking at pointing any of the rest of them anytime soon. But like, if you want to play the initiative, gotta pay a cost for that, and it's either playing a bad creature or paying a point. So, yeah, next is the Ren and 6. You want to talk to that as well, Kate?
Ren and 6, just the best planeswalker ever. Kind almost. It's just like you play it on turn 2 and it draws you 4 cards. It also like pressures X1s and just like runs away with basically every game that it comes down early, and you don't have to build around it. You just put fetch lands in your deck.
Yep. There's like, I think like the example I think even in the article is like, that we've kind of set a bar for what a 1.2 mana card can be. We've got Orcish Bowmasters, we've got Dreadhorde Arcanist, we've got Snapcaster Mage, like these powerful value engines that can get you ahead, and like if you do a little bit of work to support them, they're really good. Ren and 6 is just really good all the time, and if you do a little bit of work, it ends the game on turn 2. And maybe that's a little bit better than the other 1.2 drops, and we'd like the red-green X mid-range decks to just be a little bit less dominant. People will experiment playing mid-range without green in it would be really cool. And we haven't had that, so it'd be nice to see people can get away from green for a little bit, or red for a little bit.
Yeah, and then there's Goblin Recruiter, which is Goblins has been doing pretty consistently very well.
Goblins has been awesome. I think Goblins will keep being awesome. It's not like they're like, unless they're on Crypt Ruby, they're not struggling for ways to spend points, but maybe people will play Goblins without Goblin Recruiter. That's unlikely. But it's just like, this deck is really good. It is better than the other mana Crypt decks, other than perhaps Initiative, and try and keep them in line a little bit with other non-Initiative Crypt decks. You want to do Crypt stuff. There's 2 things that are clearly the best, but Crypt is still really good without that, and maybe keep it in line with the other options. Also, Goblin Recruiter takes like 10 minutes to resolve. If we had that slightly less often, that'd be awesome.
Yes, that would be good for everybody. And that's all of the points changes for this update. Only 7, which is quite a few, but
People are gonna come like, what are the point reductions? There isn't any in this update. That's kind of intentional. We took aim at the top couple of decks, and then we'll see what shakes out. If you're like, oh my favorite card didn't get a reduction. My cool fringe deck didn't get a reduction. That's fine. Everyone else went up. We'll see what shakes out, and then maybe we'll get to some reductions in the next update.
Yeah, there's updates not super far away, but we'll get to that later. But we have a watch list. The watch list from last time was Fourth Eolingus, Spellseeker, and Misstep. Fourth Eolingus and Spellseeker got a point. Misstep has not.
Misstep in contention for the perpetual Nautilus trophy.
Misstep is, staying on the watch list, but there are some additions. New watch list is Fury and Reanimate and the One Ring for an extra point, and Snapcaster Mage for down a point.
Yep, I think notably, before people get jump in, there are other things that are being thought about for down a point. Something specifically being called out.
Well, we always look at points for depointing.
Yeah. For the points up, Fury and Reanimate are both like really highly performing cards. They're both cards that like have seen a lot of play recently and do a lot of effect on the metagame. We pointed a lot of red cards. We think that'll reduce the impact of Fury a little bit. Maybe people will be less inclined to play red and need to play quite a lot of red to make Fury playable. For Reanimate, we're just in wait and see. We want to see. There's a lot of pressure on the format from the Mana Crypt decks to make you go fast and get on the board fast. And as the format changes up a little bit, we'll see where it falls out, I guess.
Yeah, and the One Ring is really, really good. At one, we're not sure that it should go to 2 yet, but it's really good, and it still runs away with games. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a powerful Magic card. I think both you and I had it in our decks at CanCon. It was awesome.
We did. It was a big reason for the whole construction of my deck is to make the One Ring good, even better.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see. Obviously, a lot of decks are getting points. They'll have a couple less spare points. Maybe it'll come down and be okay. Maybe it won't.
Yeah,
we'll get to see.
You definitely can't. I guess you can maybe cut Red and 6 from walks or something, and still play the ring.
I will be doing that.
yeah, but you still have but maybe some other 1 point is the next best instead of the ring if you don't have Ren. And Snapcaster Mage is still pretty good, but also is a lot less good than it used to be.
Yeah, this is basically a consideration to community requests. Is people keep asking about it, and for the first time in years, the answer is maybe.
Yeah.
So we're going to call out yes, we hear you. We're not ready for this update, but we'll have a look at the next couple of months. We'll have a look at what decks shape up, and maybe it can finally come down.
Yeah, and for the next update is on the 7th of April, which is not the normal cadence. It is the weekend before pre-release. There's the Mana Clash. Would be 2 weeks after the pre-release, and just want a little bit more time after our update for people to work out what they want to play. And
if you're planning to travel down to Melbourne, you're gonna need to get your cards sorted. You're gonna need to get them physically hold of them. If you don't know what the point state is 2 weeks beforehand, you might not have time to do that. So you get an extra week. Do some testing, figure it out. Hopefully that'll make it a bit easier. It'll be in the article. We'll pin it in Discord. We'll post it on Facebook. So we will know when the update is, but just a week forward, just for this update.
Yeah, but another big Highlander event with power on the line is exciting.
Yeah, that's true. For those of you who don't know, because it might be your first time, there's an awesome, massive Highlander event, just like CanCon. It's going to be two pieces of power, first and second place. It's in Melbourne. It is the 27th and 28th of April. I think the Highlanders on the 27th, I think. Don't quote me on that. Check the website. But we had 191 players at CanCon. Hopefully we can get 200 at Mana Clash. Come play Highlander in Melbourne. It'll be sweet. I'm really excited.
Yeah. I will try to make it down for another big Highlander event. It's exciting.
I think that's it. I think that's the update. Let us
Yeah.
know. If you like it, don't like it, have thoughts, reach out to us. Those who want to Mana Clash, just people are kindly posting links in the chat. So
Yes. Thank you for posting the links. It's they've called it the World Champion.
Highlander World Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. Article should be up now. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks.